Good afternoon, every professors. My name is Xie Mengmeng. I'm from China. Today, the topic I want to share with you is about childhood abuse and juvenile offenders' aggressive behavior, the mediating role of self-esteem. First, let's look at the introduction. As we all know, juveniles are the future and hope of a country. Their physical and mental health are related to the stability of a society. However, in recent years, juvenile crime in China has become increasingly serious, and juvenile offenders' criminal behavior often shows aggressive and violent characteristics. Moreover, juvenile offenders with antisocial tendencies may show more serious aggressive in adulthood if their aggressive behaviors are not corrected in time. So that it is of great significance to understand the impact of childhood abuse on juvenile offenders' aggressive behavior and the internal mechanism of this relationship. First, let's look at the childhood abuse and aggressive behavior. Aggression is an act of physical or psychological harm to others. Childhood abuse refers to the abuse, neglect, or both occurring during childhood. Researchers have found that aggression is associated with childhood abuse. A study has shown that childhood abuse not only increases an individual's vulnerability, but also has many negative consequences, such as aggressive behavior. Moreover, from a development perspective, childhood abuse could predict aggression, and abused adolescents are more likely to report that themselves had shown more aggressive behavior. Next, let's look at the mediating role of self-esteem. Self-esteem is an important feature that affects individual development, including the positive or negative evaluation of self-worth. Childhood abuse creates a bad environment for children that may reduce positive self-evaluation and have a negative impact on the development of self-esteem. In addition, individuals with low self-esteem were more sensitive and defensive, which made them more prone to aggressive behaviors. Therefore, self-esteem may be a mediator of the relationship between childhood abuse and aggressive behavior. Based on the researchers, we took juvenile offenders as subjects to explore the role of self-esteem between childhood abuse and aggressive behavior. In order to provide support for the treatment of juvenile offender's aggressive behavior. So we proposed two hypotheses. First, childhood abuse will positively predict juvenile offenders' aggressive behavior. Second, self-esteem will play a mediating role between childhood abuse and juvenile offenders' aggressive behavior. Next, let's see the participants. Male juvenile offenders aged 15 to 21 from two prisons in China were selected as participants. We distributed 482 survey forms and collected 425 valid responses. This study received support and consent from prison leaders. Participants were required to complete the questionnaires within 20 to 30 minutes, and the data were analyzed by SPSS. Next, let's look at the research tools. We use the childhood abuse questionnaire and self-esteem scale and aggression questionnaire. Next, let's see the results. First, let's see the result of common method bias. From the result, we can know that the data in this study were relatively unaffected by common method bias. And next, let's look at the analysis of correlation. From the table, we can see that childhood abuse was negatively corrected with self-esteem and positively corrected with aggressive behavior. And self-esteem was negatively corrected with aggressive behavior. Okay, next let's look at the mediating effect of esteem. And from the table and the figure, we can see that the results suggest that self-esteem had a significant mediating effect on the relationship between childhood abuse and aggressive behavior, with an effect value of the 0.06, accounting for 37.5% of the total effect. Next, it is the discussion. This study found that childhood abuse positively predicted juvenile offenders' aggressive behavior, supporting hypothesis 1. That is, juvenile offenders who experienced childhood abuse may show aggressive behavior. This finding suggests that parents should create a good family atmosphere to promote children's physical and mental health growth. Also, we found that self-esteem mediated the relationship between childhood abuse and aggressive behavior. Supporting hypothesis 2. On the one hand, childhood abuse could affect aggression directly. And on the other hand, childhood abuse could also affect aggression indirectly through the mediating effect of self-esteem. That is, childhood abuse predicted juveniles' aggressive behaviors through the mediator of self-esteem. The finding suggests that we should give juvenile offenders enough support and care to improve their positive self-evaluation and self-esteem level, and in the hope that they will have fewer aggressive behavior. Next, let's look at the conclusion. This research, we have the following conclusions. First, childhood abuse positively predicted juvenile offenders' aggressive behavior. Second, self-esteem mediated the relationship between childhood abuse and juvenile offenders' aggressive behavior. That's all my report. Thank you for your listening.